Hello there, everybody. Welcome back. I'm here to be talking about Survivor 46. Now, Survivor 46 is the newest season in this new era that they have going around. And unfortunately, since we're still in the new era, it still has the same trademarks as the past 5 seasons, where it's still 3 tribes of 6. It's still the 26 days. And it's just, there's just so much repetition that we're 6 seasons in a row of the same format. You guys gotta switch it up at some point because it's getting really dull. But the main thing I say to each season, how it comes down to if it's a great season or not, is the cast. How are these group of characters? That's the main bread and butter of a Survivor season. Is the cast good? And we're gonna dive right into that and the whole season here. But before I do, I just wanted to say that this will be a spoiler-filled video because the full season's out. And, you know, I gave it some time to let it sit. So if you haven't watched the full season, I recommend, watching it because I'm going to be talking spoilers. And if you don't even care and you're just here to watch my videos, then perfect, you can still stay. So this season, it's funny because before the season was really getting going, Jeff was the host, Jeff Probst, was making a big saying we're not casting villains, we're not doing that anymore, and people were getting upset about that because villains is what makes TV really compelling and fun. And I think it's ironic because I've come to learn whenever Jeff says stuff like that, it turns out to be the exact opposite. Because here, this has to be one of the most villainous, chaotic, and crazy group of people. It reminded me of Survivor Gabon in a lot of ways, how the people acted, because there are so many moments that made my jaw hit the floor and a wow, this person's a horrible person type of way, maybe outside the game. Stuff for example, the 3 main villains that I can bring up are these 3 right here: Q, Venus, and Maria. Now, this, just because they're bad people and all in the show, doesn't mean you should spread hate or anything outside. That's totally uncalled for and all. But in the context of the show, they're not good people. So, the main one that I think everyone jokes about and all is Q, because of how wild he is of a player. He literally shot himself in the foot at one of those early merge tribals where he's the only one going home is me. And then he just blew up everything because he didn't not being in control for once. So he's vote me out, and da-da-da. And then, that turned a lot of people off. And then, of course, one of the most iconic, in my opinion, reward challenges I've ever seen, when, you see that the one girl, Liz, who was struggling, who hasn't really been able to eat anything, because she went on a show where she can't eat or do anything. So that's kind of her fault. But anyways, she doesn't get chosen for this Applebee's, and they were building it up as some type of emotional thing that she does with her daughter, and we go to Applebee's and all that. And it was one of the most incredible outbursts I've ever seen in the show. And a lot of that was done about Q and how his attitude was yeah, I don't care. And it is truly incredible. In a show about social, you need to have good social bonds, you need to be nice to people, make connections, and he didn't even care. It's he knew he was a GOAT and was willing to just burn bridges and just be a jerk. And it was kind of crazy. Now, Venus is another one where she is just a nasty person. I will say in real life, she's a nasty person. So what makes her really bad, in my opinion, is you feel bad for her in the early portions of the game where she's kind of being isolated, no one's really talking with her and stuff. And you do see snippets of people trying to talk with her and stuff, but she has this type of gross attitude where she's combative and argumentative and just really a negative personality to be around. And so that kind of pushed people off of wanting to hang out with you if you're just so negative and so mean and cruel. And she was even talking smack. There is this one thing that happened that I do want to bring up because it kind of got personal with us. I brought this up. I didn't even want to add to the fire or anything. I took a screenshot so she wouldn't see it. And so she was trashing on Hunter, who was on her tribe, for gloating or whatever about winning that challenge when she was doing the exact same thing before the challenge started, which he pointed out. And he was just saying that there's a double standard there, how he gets called out, but she doesn't. And she was getting all petty and stuff. So I called her out on it, but not added her so that she didn't see it. I just wanted to express my opinion. And then she blocked me. And so it's like she loves the drama. You could tell she loves this stuff because she's digging through the hashtag. That's the only way she would have found my tweet, because I didn't at her or retweeted her tweet. I took a screenshot so she wouldn't see it. So she loves this type of stuff, whether she pretends to or not. Like, she loves the drama. She loves people, you know, I guess hating on her so she can get sympathy points later and complain about it. But I hate people like that personally, and it was just nasty. And what was funny is, like, these, you know, seeing her and Q go out back to back was one of the most satisfying, fun Survivor experiences for me, especially because they both had idols, which, by the way, insanity. This is a record-breaking season in terms of how awful the cast is at social awareness. You had 5 people go home with idols in their pocket. 4 of them back to back to back to back. Absolute insanity. We never would have expected this to happen, especially in this new era where these players are, quote, Survivor fans. But truly mind-boggling how awful this cast was socially. And it's funny because the end result was it came down to social bonds and all, which is what, you know, nabbed the winner the win. But it's just incredible how bad this cast was at reading the room. And so I don't know, I just had to point that out. And the third villain, real quick, was Maria. Now, Maria, I wouldn't say is like a real villain, because she's a wonderful person from what I've seen, and the hate she's been getting has been really sad to see and just gross. But how she treated Charlie at the end was really nasty and definitely bitter, whether she says it is or not. She was bitter. She just didn't want to award him the win because she got outplayed by him, because they were the main duo running this post-merge together. And she tried to take a shot at him at Final 6 and, you know, failed because he was able to get the numbers. And then he got her at 5. Classic, you know, he pulled it out. He won it. And, you know, that's great for him and stuff. And she looked like she took it well. But then when it turned out that she didn't vote for him, which, you know, whatever, right? But it turned out to be that one vote cost him $1 million. Because it was a 5-3 for Kenzie. And, you know, congratulations to her. She won. But it could have been a tie, and his best friend was the third guy, and he could have easily voted for him. And we don't know for sure what he would have voted, but it's just those what ifs. And depending on what he says now, the Ben dude, we don't know in the moment what he really would have done. So put that into perspective. It was still really shocking that she didn't vote, and she had this cold and callous look on her face throughout the live reunion, you know, the after show or whatever. Which, by the way, that thing is brutal to do to people who just lost, because watching Charlie's, you know, facial reactions and all is really tough to watch. Because it's so sad. I don't know, why would people want to watch that? I just think the after show is really bad for the people who lost, and it might do something to their mental health, because they were out there for 26 days playing this tedious and crazy game. They just lost, and now we get to see them wallow and be sad about it for the after show, or try to not be sad about it. It's just very tough as a viewer to watch. I can't imagine for the people themselves. So they gotta stop that shit. Like, that's really bad to watch. Anyways, I do want to say though, this season was incredible and crazy from start to finish, post-merge. The pre-merge, I remember someone compared this to Survivor Vanuatu. And I think that's a good comparison, because the first half of the season is so, you know, boring and dreadful and just bleh. But then it turned out to be God tier later on. This is very similar here, because the whole narrative and all, you know, revolves around this one dude named Banu. Who, yes, he was the 4th boot, and it's an acquired taste if you like him or not. I thought he was fine and all, but I was assuming he was going to make it farther at the time, which is why we got a lot of content with him. But the fact that he was the 4th boot, and you just look at the confessional count, And he ended up having more confessionals than people who made it many episodes later. And even when we were coming to the finale, I believe Ben even had less than him before the finale, which is insane to me. The editing in terms of confessional count has to be done better. For someone who is the fourth boot, who a lot of people hate and, you know, made fun of and no one liked, to get that many confessionals, 35 in 4 episodes. And you have someone on episode 12 who, or 11 or whatever, who had less than 35. Insanity to me. It just made no sense. And like the tribes were just like I said, it comes down to the characters. And you know, even that disaster tribe Yanu, who, you know, the winner ended up coming from that tribe, so maybe that's why we spent a lot of time there. But the crazy personalities there, like even the first boot, Jelensky, he has to be one of the best first boots of all time, because he was talked about episode after episode. Sure, they were all making fun of him and laughing at him, which if I were him, I'd be pissed as shit. I'd be so mad. But maybe he'll come back, because they just kept talking about him, making fun of him, because he thought 7 meant several. And even one of the episode titles was named Episode Several, which is insane. Like, I've never seen the show dog on or keep talking about a first boot like they did with this dude. So I don't know, it was just crazy. And again, like, the challenges were pretty fun. There were some unique challenges in the home stretch of the game, like near the end, which I don't remember seeing before. So I do appreciate them trying new challenges out. And, you know, the scenery, of course, is beautiful. Fiji is a wonderful place. And I'm fine with it still being in Fiji. You know, my little complaints were, you know, the 26 days, and you gotta switch it up from 3 tribes to 6. It's just getting boring. I would rather want to see 2 tribes of 10 or 2 tribes of 8, or like something to switch it up a bit. But that's just my thoughts on it personally. And speaking of thoughts, those were all I had to say about Survivor 46. Again, what do you all have to say about this season? It means a lot that you all checked out this video. And if you want to hit the subscribe button as well, and the bell as well, to get notified when I upload, that would be great. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.